Today, we delve into what if Earth's mightiest heroes fell, or worse, became zombies. Night Monkey Toys explores this haunting possibility with their incredible set of Fallen Avengers collectibles in true 1/4 scale. As 2024 concluded, I was visited by an undead gift giver, bringing these to me as a final send-off and welcoming in of 2025. Today, we will review a conglomeration of 13 key Marvel iconic pieces interpreted in a what-if manner, whether you prefer these to be a testament of sacrifice of our beloved heroes, or perhaps you are on Team Evil Zombie Avengers.
Because once Earth's mightiest heroes joined the infected, no one else stood a chance.
Regardless of your thoughts, Night Monkey Toys has manifested these into our reality, and they are great. Each skull represents a hero who gave everything for a cause greater than themselves. The Iron Man skull captures Tony Stark's ultimate sacrifice in Endgame, while the Captain America skull and broken shield signify his role as a protector, even to his last breath. Sacrifice is what makes heroes immortal in our hearts. This collection isn't just a display of loss, it's a tribute to their legacy and what they stood for. The collection invokes a what-if scenario, encouraging viewers to imagine a darker, alternate timeline where the Avengers fell. The Thanos Skull flips the narrative on his triumph into one of a downfall, challenging fans to think about what a different outcome could have looked like. In the multiverse, every choice leads to a different reality. These pieces invite us to explore those unseen realities where even the most hopeful endings aren't guaranteed. These heroes were all defined by their strengths. Hulk's power, Thor's thunder, Scarlet Witch's magic, but the collection showcases their vulnerability and defeat. The scars, cracks, and weather details in these skulls are not just signs of defeat, they tell a story of struggle and resilience. Their fall was not in vain, it was a testament to their willing to fight to the end. Whether you prefer it to be dead Avengers or zombie Avengers, in the end, I don't think it really matters.
All right, it really matters whether or not you run around all day blowing guys.
That is only a very large part of what I do.
As we begin the unboxing, we have just one smaller box for this edition, clear and well illustrated art box as well. Inside, there's only one layer in some very nice well packaged foam. Unwrapped, we get our first clear image of these brilliantly colored icons. First up is the Mad Titan himself. This particular piece really flips the narrative. Thanos as the fallen, not the conqueror. The detail here shows the Titan defeated, an ironic twist for a character who sought to rewrite the universe's destiny. As you examine him, note the high degree of weathering and decay on his helmet and his bone. It is painted and sculpted with such detail and attention, it truly looks as a long-aged, decaying skeleton. In regards to my collection allowing it, I will try to compare these to living equivalencies. Here I have him with the Thanos on Throne maquette portrait. It's actually a little bit bigger than the original. Next out of the box is a classic Thor helmet and skull. Oversized wings adorn this helmet, as does Asgardian embellishments. Severe damage can be noted atop of the helmet as well. Also noted are those several missing teeth from the front. Here, I have the new piece compared to the quarter-scale Sideshow's Thor Breaker of Brimstone portrait. Despite the lack of hair and flesh, it does hold up relatively well size-wise. Completely different takes of the same character. One is ultra-modern, while the other is the classic historic Thor. With the God of Thunder fallen, Mjolnir sits by his side, waiting for someone worthy to rise again. A fantastic representation of the mighty hammer and well detailed. Note not only the textures and weathering or damage, but also the highlights in the handle and the emblems on the pommel. Again, compared to the Sideshow quarter scale Breaker of Brimstone, it is notably larger and heavier. Following that, we have the Hawkeye skull. In an odd turn of irony, this particular skull has 3 arrows penetrating it into the side of it. The portrait itself is a classic comic representation of him in his glorious purples and lavenders. Even the underside of these pieces are given complete and total attention. Moving along, we have our friendly neighborhood web slinger. For some reason, this particular one seems to show signs of serious trauma, including the mask being ripped apart in multiple locations. The portrait utilizes classic Spidey eyes from the comics. When comparing to the Sideshow quarter-scale Spider-Man, this one does fall a little smaller in scale. However, unlike the Sideshow, this interpretation has a very well-textured Spidey suit and the much larger eyes. Next up is the tiniest skull of all. Here we have the Ant-Man skull. Unlike most of the other pieces, this interpretation seems to come from the MCU universe and not the classic comic-inspired canon the other pieces seem to evolve from. This piece is a subtle, poignant reminder that even the smallest hero can leave a giant mark. Scott Lang's cleverness couldn't save him here. Classic comic Captain America is up after that. Tiny ear wings and giant A on his forehead and all. Well sculpted and textured to give a true leather feel to his mask. Even the seams along the sides have a well illustrated baseball seam-like look to them. Just wonderful in all. Here, I have the piece compared against the Sideshow Captain America quarter scale by Daniel Bell. Similar to Thor, we have the ultra-modern take versus the classic comic take, both equally sized and great colors. Here, the symbolism of the broken, indestructible shield as the ultimate loss of hope and protection resonates loud and clear. Another nod to Endgame and Thanos in full force. The unbreakable spirit of Captain America lives on, even as his shield lies shattered. Comparatively, I have it alongside an intact Captain America quarter-scale size shield. Size-wise, they are very similar, but the paint app on the shield really hammers home how good this commissioner is. The intricate scars and distress are unbelievable. Here, we have the MCU version of Vision, including his love bite from Thanos. As we explore this portrait, we see the decay and age to it. Despite his strength and engineering superiority, he has fallen and succumbed just the same. The spinal column and wires extruding from the underside are a wonderful touch as well. Subsequently, we have Vision's love interest, the Scarlet Witch, in classic comic-inspired costume. Scarlet Witch's story is one of heartbreak. This piece captures that tragedy perfectly. Her headpiece elicits visions of battle and trauma, but most alarming is the missing lower mandible to the skull, as if ripped from her head. Classic non-nanotech Iron Man is next. The shattered and destroyed helmet reflects his sacrificial nature from Avengers Endgame, a haunting reminder of Tony Stark's ultimate sacrifice for the universe, a hero to the very end. This particular component actually has a removable Iron Man face to completely expose the full skull if you prefer. A nice little touch. The colors are spot on as well. Kind of morbid to think his head was ripped clean off with the helmet still on. As a comparative model, I have the most recent Sideshow quarter-scale Iron Man. The stark contrast, pun intended, between the gleaming car paint on one versus the tattered and dull hues of the skull could not be more poignant. Again, very similarly sized. Finally, we have the enormous Hulk skull, a true testament to the mantle of Hulk, the multiple cracks in the bone representing the unrelenting force of the Hulk. Even the strongest Avenger isn't invincible. This is what raw power meeting its limit looks like. Special note for this particular one is it appears to be molded after the first appearance Hulk with his Kirby-style hair. Oddly though, this is the only skull that is not bone-colored, as if his entire DNA and physical being is transformed when he hulks out. Also, the haircut kind of reminds me of a scene from Dumb and Dumber. Here, he is compared to the large quarter-scale OG Gladiator Hulk from Sideshow, still just massive and imposing, despite the lack of flesh, muscle, and biomaterial. Just to emphasize the size of this actual Hulk skull, here I have it next to the LBS Hulk 1/3 scale. Even next to this gargantuan monster, it still holds its own. Just magnificent. As usual with this custom commissioner, we have the certificate of authenticity, numbered as well. I have 13 out of only 59. Lastly, we have the world's smallest light for the Eye of Agamotto, or better known as the Time Stone. It represents the mystical side of the Avengers and the critical role Doctor Strange played. It's an artifact holding the secrets of time, now rendered powerless, a striking metaphor for destiny's inevitability. Typically displayed as an amulet, I appreciate they included a stand for this. And here we have the complete unboxing and minimal assembly, as well as one potential display option I have for these epic satellite pieces. The Ant-Man head fits perfectly into the Thanos on Throne gauntlet. Despite their superhuman powers, this collection serves as a stark reminder that even the mightiest heroes are not invincible. These pieces force us to confront the fragility of life, even in a universe filled with gods, titans, and invincible warriors. Mortality doesn't discriminate, even among those who save the world. The skulls strip the heroes down to their most vulnerable state, symbolizing a universal truth. Everyone, no matter how strong, has an end. In terms of actual size reference, here are some basic measurements. The Hulk skull is clearly the largest at just about 3¼ inches, while the Mjolnir hammer is about 5¼ inches. The rest hover anywhere between 2 and 3 inches tall. In terms of final display options, I plan to pair the broken shield atop my XM Thanos with his saber, while Mjolnir will be paired with Captain America. And here he is with his new hammer in front of him. Similarly, I've placed the Thanos skull in front of Mistress Death. I think it really pairs nicely with her base and the overall scheme of her concept. As for the remaining severed heads, I have used them to decorate my Infinity Gauntlet and graded comic display. It really adds another layer to this endgame saga. The inclusion of pieces like the Eye of Agamotto and Thor's hammer raises existential questions about power and responsibility. The Eye of Agamotto, now devoid of its mystical energy, symbolizes how even the most powerful artifacts lose meaning without the heroes who wield them. This piece serves as a reminder that tools and weapons don't make a hero. It's the choices they make and the values they stand for that define them. The Fallen Avengers signify the conclusion of an age of heroism, leaving room for reflection on what comes next. Every hero eventually passes the torch. These skulls remind us that while one chapter ends, their stories pave the way for the next generation of heroes to rise. For fans, this collection might evoke nostalgia and gratitude for the characters who have shaped the Marvel Cinematic Universe and comic stories alike. While the collection is haunting, it also carries a dual message of hope. In their sacrifice, these heroes ensured that others could live on. Though these pieces represent loss, they also celebrate perseverance, the willingness to fight, even when victory seems impossible. Fans are reminded of the unyielding spirit of these characters, inspiring them to face their own challenges with courage. And that wraps up another one. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to comment down below what you thought of the pieces. Until we meet again, keep your passion for collecting alive and your love for superheroes soaring.